Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our truly international talk show where I get to talk to, Mike Briggs, by the way, I get to talk to authors from all over the world every day, and it's just a greatest job ever that I fell into, and I'm having such a good time. I read books all day, and then I talk to authors part of the day. Our first guest was from Ireland. Our next guest is from Canada. By the way, check out this book. It's beautiful. The Green Velvet Chair. And not only do we have the book, we have the author here, too, if I can find her. There she is. Welcome, Laura Ballerini. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you very much.
I was reading up on you. You're a fascinating person, and you put into words something I've been trying to say for a while, but we're surrounded by art, and your book talks about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the book is about art and design in everyday life. And it's more than, the artwork that's hanging in a museum. It's about cooking and music and crafting and sewing and sports. It's everywhere. My husband's not an artist in any way, shape, or form, but he's a car guy. And he recently put some gauges in the dash of his car, and I looked at it and I'm going, it's perfectly balanced. It's facing the driver. It's attuned for the driver. Its craftsmanship is beautiful, and I thought that is artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's everywhere.
It's interesting you talk about even artwork in nature. I'm a musician by trade, and I always say, music isn't something we made up. It's in nature. It's a vibration of a string or something that happens in nature. But yeah, it's all around us. Tell us about you and your art and your background.
Yeah, so actually today I'm celebrating my 26th year of my business, Blue Brown Communications. And I've been a designer for many decades, many more than the 26 years. I've started my own company, like I say, 26 years ago in graphic design, branding, and everything that entails. Kind of a one-stop shop, and it's been a great ride.
Yeah. Now, I guess you designed the cover of your book, of course.
I did.
Yeah, and it got me the first time I saw it. In fact, that's why we asked you to come on the show. Just the title, The Green Velvet Chair. And I have to pick books every day. I have to pick books to read all the time. And truly, the cover helps. Cover helps me pick that book if it's intriguing and kind of tells part of the story. Now, do you think we should all be creating art in our daily lives?
I think we are creating art in our daily lives. I give the example of my husband being a car guy, but I have friends that are plumbers, and they go, you know what, Laura, I create artwork every day. I put these pipes in, and they're perfectly, parallel to each other, and the soldering is perfect, and this is artwork to me. And I was thinking, we recently got our wills done, and I was talking to a lawyer, and very creative, very artistic. She's going, your estate doesn't necessarily have to go to your family. She was a creative thinker, and she's going, if you're passionate about pets, it can go to, a pet shelter, an animal shelter. So it's creative. I think we're all artists in our own way, whether a plumber or a lawyer or, for me, a designer. I think everything we do in every way is art.
I think about this sometimes when you come upon people and how they are dressed and whether you think they look nice or they don't look nice, but every person takes a lot of time to think through what they're going to put on every day.
Absolutely.
And so I was telling myself, no, that's what they think they look the best in, and it probably is. And so we're always creating. Now, tell me about your art. Is it art studio, a design studio? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a design studio. So I started in the newspaper industry way back in the heyday of newspapers, and I worked in the advertising department for many years, and then I worked for a telecommunications company as the art director, the creative director there, and I finally decided, I'm going to hang out my own shingle. I'm good at this. I think I'm good with people. I am soft-spoken, but I think I come across as trustworthy, and I think I'm a good designer. So I started designing everything from brand to websites to we're even doing a little bit of video. I'm not a videographer, but I art direct that. So everything, and it's been great.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, what do you design? You just answer it, but I always, in my mind, it pops up, book covers. That must be what she does, but it's everything.
It's everything, and in fact, book cover, to be honest, producing a book is a lot of work. As I'm sure you know, it's painstaking work. It's very detail detail oriented.
Let me ask you this: the newspaper was that you worked for originally was called Calgary something,
The Calgary Herald, yes.
and do they still print it?
They do, and I still get it.
You
I
still
still
get
get it.
nice.
We don't get it Sundays or Mondays anymore, but the rest of the week I still get it and I still read it. So
That's good
yeah,
to
I'm
hear.
old school in that way.
Yeah, I have not held a newspaper probably in years. Ours is just gone, and I miss it very much. So it was an important part about. But I think you reading about you always list that as kind of your beginning, your base where you started, and it jumped off. And the college you went to, tell me about that.
So I went to the Alberta College of Art and Design many decades ago, right out of high school, and it was a 4-year program. I learned a lot. I went into visual communication, so there's a lot of painters, printmakers, that type of thing. I went into advertising, which was visual communications, because I did want to make a living at this.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a good living at it, and I worked for like I say, an advertising agency, and obviously the newspaper, and yeah, it was a very good groundwork for learning about art and design.
I want to go back to the book, and by the way, here is the cover again. Tell me some of the story, or about some of the stories, or pick one of the stories in the book. It sounds like you're pointing out art that you see around you.
Yeah, it's about stories of me growing up in a creative household. My parents were not artists, but they were creative. So there's stories in there about, my mom making Ukrainian Easter eggs. She's got a Ukrainian heritage. So right now it's very poignant for me to talk about that. So making Ukrainian Easter eggs too, it started with the green velvet chair. I don't know if you're aware, but really the story started with her finding this rickety old chair in a farmer's field, and we went for a Sunday drive, and she wanted my dad to stop so that we could buy that chair from the farmer. She bought it from the farmer, stuck it in the back of our station wagon. We took it home, and we all rolled our eyes, thinking, "What is she going to do with this piece of junk?"
Yeah.
And she had a vision for it, and that was part of the stories in the book. Was people have visions, and we don't always believe their vision, or understand their vision, or see their vision. But if we believe in people to follow through in that vision and support them, I think it's really important.
Yeah.
So the green velvet chair, it sits in my house today as kind of evidence of a vision that she had that none of us saw. And it was really kind of inspiring. Well, it was very inspiring to me. So it's stories like that. It's stories about, when she died, and I wrote her eulogy, and designing with words, being a writer, and it's a new art form for me, moving words around and making them work.
Yeah, your mind is rich with ideas. Things are designed, and you can design things, and that's amazing how you look at that. Tell us about nature. What do you see in nature?
Well, nature is, driving down the tree-lined street, and it's either very symmetrical and very balanced, or it's asymmetrical and kind of creative, an English garden, or, I don't know, ivy that's growing over a fence. So it is everywhere. It's very inspiring, and I think most of us know it's there, but we don't always see it as artwork. And like you said, nature is our first form of artwork. Flowers and color, and just how ice. We're in Canada, so we've got snow still.
Wow.
It's how the snow glistens in the sunlight. Like, it's everywhere, and I think. I hope this book just helps inspire people to see it and appreciate it, not only in nature, but in ourselves, in our very being. It's in each of us. I think each of us are an artist.
Yeah. It's inspirational, just the story about your mom finding the chair and saying she's going to do it, and she saw it through. And that I tell people all the time, if you have a dream or a vision, say it out loud. Let other people know that you're after this. You'd be surprised. People will even help you get it done.
Yes. People want to support you. They want to help you see your dreams and make them come to reality. And I think that's part of finding your voice, whether it's in a book or articulating on verbally. I think it's just talking about your dreams and your aspirations, and people are there to help you find that.
Yeah. I've got a couple of people in mind that I want to gift this book to, and because I think it's going to be inspirational for them. And I know people who are just holding back. Maybe they're intimidated. You said in the book, I think, express yourself on the dance floor at the family wedding. Let yourself go a little bit. Tell us about the whole being a badass thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, you can see I'm a quiet introvert. But I belong to a networking group, and I joined the group several years ago because I am a quiet introvert. So I'm always in that self-improvement mode. But anyway, we were in the networking group, and we had to switch our name tags and introduce ourselves as the name tag that we had chosen. And I was kind of excited to see how I showed up in this group. And the one fellow that had picked my name tag, he got up and he goes, "My name is Laura Ballerini, and I'm the quietest and the shyest person in the group. But I am very nice, and I get along with everybody." And I thought, that's it.
That's me.
He didn't talk about me being a great designer or a very good business strategist. It was about I was nice. And I thought it's a nice way to be described. But I left the meeting going, damn, I wish someone would describe me as a badass. So, I thought about all the events in my life where I thought I was a badass. And I thought about being, I stood up to the bully in the playground when I was a kid. That was pretty badass. And, when my mom passed away and I wrote her eulogy and I was going to deliver her eulogy on the pulpit, and people said, "You can't do that. You're too quiet and shy." And I looked at them and I said, "Just watch me."
Yeah.
And then at my daughter's wedding, of course, I just kind of lost my inhibitions. I was dancing on the dance floor with a bottle of wine and with many of the other women that had bottles of wine, and we were dancing to UB40's Red Wine. And I got off the dance floor, and my daughter's friend goes, "I see where your daughter got her personality." She goes, "You're badass." So I thought, you know what? And I talked about these stories in my workshop, and they said, "You know what? You should get badassballerini.com." And I did, and the story kind of went from there. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's fun, right?
It is really fun, yes. And it shapes your personality just saying Badass Ballerini, and I'd never met you, and I thought this is going to be a force on this show. Let's see. You also talk about shifting perspective. Perspective shifter, is that you?
Yes, and that's really about seeing vision, right? Having the vision to believe in somebody when you're going, "I don't know what she's going to do with that piece of junk," or "I don't know what my husband's going to do with those gauges because I don't know how they're going to fit in the dash." And it's about shifting perspective and really seeing things in a different way. I think it being artistic, but artistic like being the plumber or the lawyer who's very creative, I think it makes us creative thinkers, better thinkers, more strategic thinkers. And that's how I like to think that, somebody called me a perspective shifter, and I thought, you know what, I do see things from the lens of a creative designer, but I see that in other people when I talk to them, and I go, even an engineer, like, people think they're very straight-laced, they're very creative thinkers, right?
Yes.
So I like to think my perspective is kind of shifting how I see the world.
I think about that sometimes, about the whole badass, underneath idea is that you see people who sit quietly and they don't jump in the conversation and think, but there's a lot going on in their head that we don't really know. And to them, they probably are being forward and being a badass. And you got to look at people with different perspectives to see what they're really about.
Yeah. One of my sayings is listen to the quiet ones.
Yeah.
They too have a story to tell. And I think there's lots of people that have charisma and they're very loud and aggressive and, great. That's a great personality. But the quiet ones that sit in the back of the room are, and many times, the brilliant ones with the innovative ideas that we really need to listen to.
Yeah. I tend to find those and try to draw them out because I know they have something to say. Everybody's talking all around them and not giving them a chance. I'll say, hey, let's hear from you for a bit. And I find it very rewarding. Tell me who should read this book.
It's for everybody. What I hope, it's about family. There's a lot of stories about motherhood and that type of thing, but it really is for anybody. But what I would hope is that people would see themselves in the stories and realize the universality of art and design. Like I say, and you said it too, it's how we dress. It's, you're wearing blue-brown, which is beautiful today because that's the name of my company. But it's everywhere. It's how we dress. It's how we choose our glasses that frame our face. It's our personality. So it really is, I'm hoping for everyone to kind of see themselves in these stories. There's a story about me struggling in high school, and one family friend who I thought I knew very well, she emailed me, she goes, "Laura, I had no idea you struggled in high school like I did." So there's that universal storytelling that I think is so important. So really the book is for everyone.
Yeah, it sounds very inspirational and for anyone. It doesn't have to be an artist or a designer or a creative person. I think you'll get something out of this book. I recommend our viewers go find it. Where can they find the book?
You can find it through anywhere online, obviously Amazon
Yeah.
or any other bookstore online. I actually do, I haven't promoted it yet, but I do have a 99% or 99-cent ebook special
Nice.
on right now. So anyone that wants to download that 99 cents ebook is more than welcome to do it, and I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah, I think they will. Now, by the way, your website is on the screen. Uh, what will our viewers find there?
So you can obviously purchase the book if you like. It just came out, so this is a second edition. You can also download an excerpt if you're not sure. So there's an excerpt that has a new prologue and what do you call it, epilogue, as well as one of the chapters. There's new chapters in the second edition,
Nice.
so they can download that excerpt under it says download excerpt
Yeah.
link. So you can go there and do it today.
Will we see some of your designs there?
Uh, well, I designed the website,
There you go.
but I don't have any visuals. I don't have images in the book itself. It's storybook. It's a storybook. It's about designing with words.
Yeah.
So if they want to see my artwork, that's my corporate site, which is bluebrown.com. So they can see my
Very
artwork
good.
there and my design work.
Yeah. Laura, I'm inspired just talking to you, and I can't wait to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gift this book to a couple of people. And for our viewers, go to wherever you buy your books. I try not to say the big A word so often. I say it every day. But I never go there and click once. I click 5 times on the book, so order 5 copies so I could give it to some people. I love to do that and encourage our viewers to do that. I'm inspired just talking to you, Laura, and reading about you before the interview. I was very inspired. So I hope you'll come back on the show again and again. Oh, I forgot to say my most important thing is, because I talk so much, I just want to give you a minute to say anything you want about your book or your life or anything going on in the world.
Yeah, I guess I would just like to end with 3 things. And one is really appreciate the art and design that's around you, no matter what that is. Whether it's, the plumbing or the electrical panel that you've perfectly labeled and made so beautifully nice and straight and all that. So it's appreciating art and design around you. It's really finding your creative outlet. For me, I talk about Albert Einstein being a brilliant, obviously, physicist, but he was a very gifted musician. So it's finding your own creative outlet, whatever that may be. And then finally, I want people to nurture their own inner badass. Stand up to the bullies. When the world says you can't do it, say, just watch me.
Just watch.
And when you're on the dance floor, just, life is short. Enjoy those creative moments. So
Enjoy. Yeah, I enjoy talking to you. I'm inspired by you. Our viewers,
Thank you.
please go find this book and order it. You will not regret it. And I'm going to go look at your website right after this because my websites are so sloppy. I love to watch when a good designer designs one. So for our viewers, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with another author. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you very much.
All right. Right now.